guys some updates, okay? We're gonna make this quick. So, prepare to be sick of me because I won an Osmo. Everybody clap. Okay, and y'all finna get YouTube videos all the time, okay? All right. Second thing, I got a free car wash today. I don't know what's going on, but God is sending the blessings and I am receiving it, okay? And I don't want to be cocky and be like, I deserve it, but let's just say from the time that my mother died to now, a lot has unraveled, okay? To the point where I was literally like, bro, am I cursed? Am I? Okay, since 2023. I'm gonna say it again, since 2023, when my mother died. When I tell you disaster after disaster after disaster, disaster after disaster after disaster, I'm not joking, okay? We're still waiting to go to court, to trial for her. I'm gonna move back now. So, okay, mind you, wait, let me come back to you. I'm an only child. A lot of people, when they go through deaths of like their mothers passing away, they have like brothers, sisters. No, I'm my mother's only child. And I have history of being suicidal. Just think about that. Think about that, right? Okay. So now with all the good things happening, I'm like, wow, God, you finally see me. But it took a lot of faith. I need to show y'all my prayer wall. Because I think that's been helping. Because you know, a lot of the times we pray, and we're not intentional with our prayers. I've been way more intentional with my prayers too. Anyway, that's for another day. But this was my first Christmas without anybody. What do I mean? Meaning like my first Christmas, like alone, like no man, no mother, no lying ass stepfather, no, like, I'm talking about like in the house on Christmas by myself, like no Christmas tree, like by myself. Okay, so when people be like, Dana, you don't know depression, you don't know sadness, you don't. No, bitch, I know ball. I live this shit. Okay? I live it. So this is why I'm so passionate about suicide prevention and all these things. Don't get me wrong. I'm still working on my healing. That's why this is called Healing with Dana. Dana is still working on her healing, okay? I still have my moments where I'm like, why the fuck am I here? However, God has been blessing me in certain ways. And then I was on Tony the Closer's live and I won $500. Let's put it together. So I won a free Osmo. You know these Osmo cameras, they are not cheap. They're running like $700 a pop, okay? I did the live with Tony the Closer, won $500, and then I got a free car wash. Let me come closer. Tell me I'm not daddy's princess. And when I say daddy, I mean God in heaven. Huh? Okay. Oh, and then I had to use a pimple patch. If you know me, we don't use pimple patches here, okay? We do our skincare routine and we know ourselves, okay? But there is this pimple right here. This is the second time I've had this pimple. Let me tell y'all how disrespectful she is. This is the second time I've had her, which is why I was like, bro, I think this is the reason I'm going to have to use a pimple patch. Let me tell you. Hold on. So I was in the mirror the other day. This was like a little bit before Christmas. And I was like, bro, I never get a pimple underneath my eye. And then I looked and I was like, wait, this is ripe. You know when that pimple is ripe and it has like white stuff in it. And I was like, oh, she ripe. I'm gonna pop her. So I popped her, right? And then when I popped her, I was like, why isn't the rest of the fluid coming out? I was confused. So I was like, all right. I was like, bet. So what I typically do my night skincare routine after I pop the pus out the pimple, right? Then I put on my toner, then my skin cream, and then I take witch hazel and just put it over the pimple so it can dry it out in the morning. Girl, she did not dry out in the morning. I said, you know what? I'm gonna give you another 2 days. I gave her another 2 days. She was still ripe. I said, baby, but there's nothing in there. So I said, oh, you know what I'm finna do? I'm finna wait it out again. I waited it out again, baby. It like, she was disrespectful. So I said, you know what? I'm finna go to the store and get me a pimple patch. When I tell you, I kept debating with myself. I was like, bro, we don't use pimple patches. We don't. But it's like, it's unexplainable. Like, it's ripe, but there's no pus in it. Because I took all the pus out of it. But there's still liquid in there. But when I try to squeeze it out, there's nothing in there. Like, it's dry, but you can see like a lump and you can see like there's fluid, but it's like underneath. I said, bruh, this why y'all be using pimple patches? Let me use a pimple patch. Let me tell you, girl, I was so cute today. My patients were like, oh my God, Danny, you're so cute. Is that like a sticker because you were a good girl at work? I was like, no. It's a pimple patch. But anyway, focus. Let's get back to the real reason why I'm recording. So I thought I'd tell y'all all my business. If you have been suicidal like me, I got a whole bunch of resources for you. And I'm not talking about text 741, text 9. No, I'm talking about stuff you can download and read. I know the black girls don't like to read. I know we don't like to read, but I need you to read, okay? Because I notice with me, when I'm having my episodes, I need something to read to keep me in line. Alignment. See this? Alignment. Okay, so if you are like me and you like to read, I'm gonna need you to read to save your life, okay? So I have a whole bunch of resources down below. I have the family guide for suicide prevention. If you are a family member and you know that your family member, your little boy, your little girl, your cousin, your mama, your auntie are struggling with being suicidal, are struggling with depression, are struggling with anxiety, I give you the exact things to say and how to be there for them without being awkward, because some of y'all be so awkward, I be wanting to punch y'all. Ooh, so awkward. I teach you how to not be awkward, okay? How can I teach you if I've never been there? Okay, so Family Guy would teach you how to not be awkward by talking to these people that are like myself, struggling with their mental health, okay? The second ebook is Waiting on God While Wanting to Die. What does that mean? So, this is gonna be a long behind video, but let me break it down for y'all. So, the other ebook is called Waiting on God While Wanting to Die. That ebook is, if you are a Christian and you are praying like me, I was praying. I was like, God, you letting me be suicidal and you're not doing nothing. You're not opening your mouth. You're not sending me a word. You're not sending somebody with a dream. Let me tell you something, because God is real, okay? I've had many miracles in my life to show me over and over that God is real. I'm not talking about, oh, God, if you let me see a green car, I'm going to rent $100. No, I'm talking about like people that I don't know stopping me on the street and saying, hey, God said, to a specific prayer that I prayed between me and God that only He would know. Okay? So typically I get a lot of those from God and I wouldn't get nothing. And the one thing about suicide is when you are suicidal, baby, that shit, it don't go away the next day. It is a process of training your mind to let go of those thoughts, okay? Especially when you struggle with grief or a parent dies and you're the only child, like me, or just different things that's going on. Child, Dana was suicidal like there was no tomorrow, okay? So I was like, God, you really got me out here suicidal. You not saying nothing. And my world is falling apart. My stepfather is lying on me. Of course he would. Okay? When a man show you his character, And it shows you that as a parent, he has an issue with your kid and he met your kid when your kid was 8, 9, 10 years old, follow that. As parents, follow it. Follow it. Stop ignoring it. Stop saying, oh, I'm going to change it. You can't change how a man feels towards your kid. You can't change that. No, ma'am. Okay? So we had that. So I'm venting to God. Then I started noticing different ways that God was talking to me. And I kept seeing Psalm 77, Psalms 40, Psalm 77, Psalms 40. I was like, bro, what the hell? So I said, okay, Dana, let's sit my ass down and try to figure out, what is daddy trying to tell me? Go through Psalm 77. I said, ooh. Go through Psalms 40. I said, what? I see what you cooking, right? So let me give you a hint, right? There was a girl, I'm gonna put her picture here. African-American girl, beautiful girl, she had kids. She committed suicide like 4 months ago, right? And one of her, in that post that she put on Facebook, she was like, yo, I've been crying to God and God is not answering me. The answer is in Psalm 77. When you are suicidal and God is not talking to you yet, the answer is in Psalm 77. You know how people be like, oh, the Bible is basic instructions before leaving earth? It dead ass is. Basic instructions before leaving earth. If we just take the time to read. First of all, God already told us that he has a weakness, okay? He wants us to read his word. It literally says, meditate on my word day and night. I used to be like, why, bro? You say the same thing throughout the Bible over and over again. But if you're paying attention, he's literally giving you the roadmap to your sanity in the Bible, okay? So I was like, okay, well, what about Psalms 40? Because when we are suicidal and God is not answering us, okay, boom, Psalm 77 is there. Got it. Why Psalms 40? And that's when it just hit me. Oh, Father, I thank you. Father, in the name of Jesus, Lord, I thank you for allowing people to see that it is you that is working and not me. It just hit me. So, Psalms 40. Wow. Psalms 40. Remember I just told y'all the testimony of everything, right? I know I be cussing on here. Please have mercy on me. Oh, that's another thing we got to talk about. Anyway, so Psalms 40, right? And I was like, why you keep showing me Psalms 40? So we go through it. I read through it and I said, In Psalms 40, it says that he will lift you out of the pit. Not only will he lift you out of the pit, but he will lift you out of that pit so that others can see what he did for you. Did you hear what I said? So I broke it down in my ebook down below. I'm going to put it down below. Y'all can read it. Okay? I broke it down so that you can understand. So Psalm 77 is to actually keep you alive and teach you what to do when you're praying to God about you being suicidal and he's not answering you. Psalms 40 is to remind you that when he takes you out of it, it's not just for you. It's to show the world that this thing can be conquered. Get the ebook down below. So so there's so many things going through my brain. So listen, remember when I was telling y'all, so that people can see? And I just thought back to today, like the past couple of days have been, except for one incident, but we got that covered, my roof, right? Because I was short, but it didn't even matter. Okay. Right. So remember I came on here, I was telling you the testimony. I was like, bro, I got an Osmo. I got a free car wash. And I won $500 just by being me. Or being in the right place at the right time. So that's God's way of showing, I'm taking you out of this a little bit at a time. But know that it's me. Y'all clap. You not clapping. Clap. Good girl. So let's get back to the purpose of this video. I wanted to talk about your GI health. As you can see, I just got home from work. But your GI, your gastrointestinal system. Yes, I am a nurse. We're going to break it down. Okay? So, I struggled with, still do struggle with, however, kind of really don't. What am I saying? There has been progression where I've gotten way better. Okay? Let me break it down for you. So, I was diagnosed with diverticulosis, diverticulitis, and gastroparesis. What are those, right? Diverticulitis, your intestines are inflamed. Diverticulosis, you have the pockets within your intestines. Within those pockets are accumulation of food that are like gritty or grainy that stays in there that can cause inflammation, which is the diverticulitis, cause pain, fever, upset stomach, sometimes diarrhea or constipation, depending on how you are, right? Gastroparesis. Paresis meaning paralyzed, right? So there is a nerve that connects from your stomach all the way down throughout your body. That nerve remains dormant. Because that nerve is dormant, meaning it's not really doing anything, you typically see this with like diabetics or stuff like that, where they have like specific nerve endings that just either fail, no longer working, or just causes tingling, right? But for people like myself who are not diabetics, they don't know what causes this nerve to just completely shut down. When that nerve shuts down, your GI tract and your stomach falls asleep when it should not be sleeping. Okay? As it is sleeping, when you're trying to digest food, you have a way harder time, aka you get GERD, so you feel food coming back up because, sorry, who was this? You feel food coming back up, you want to throw up, all these things, right? So what does your doctor prescribe? They prescribe PPIs. Example, pantoprazole. When you're in the hospital, it's in the IV form, which I used to give a lot while I was on the med-surg floor, whatever floor they floated me to, but I was ICU queen. I used to love being in the ICU because let's get the drama. Bring in the cases. Bring on the drownings. Bring on the car accidents. Let's go. I like that adrenaline rush. I used to love it. Okay. Now, bitch, we tired. My mom is dead. I can't do it. Okay. I feel like once we get justice for my mother and we start going to trial, I can probably dibble back into ICU, but right now, because my grief is so heavy and her murderer is still out there, I just want to kill everybody because leave me alone, okay? Focus. So, right, so I used to be the ICU girl. I used to be like, yo, bring on the drama, let's do it, da-da-da-da-da, all the things. Girl. Then I started getting the GERD, and I was like, why am I getting GERD? So anyway, they did this whole diagnostic thing with me. I had to eat a sandwich with some contrast under this big-ass machine, and the doctor was like, ooh, girl, your food is not going down. And I said, well, wait, what we finna do? And he was like, all right, so we're going to give you some PPIs, da-da-da-da. So he was like, but I'm going to send it back to your primary because your primary told me that you're very stubborn. I was like, wow, she outed me already. So we're back to primary. So my primary, I'm going to say her name because I love her. Her name is Dr. Patty. She is a Veterans Affairs doctor. If you don't know, I'm a veteran, Army, whore. So go back to her and she's like, girl, you're not digesting. Look at this. All of the food is sitting in one place. So she was like, we're going to send you to a specialist. I go to the specialist. The specialist goes, hey, until you figure out either how to wake up that nerve, because he said, mind you, this is why it's so important to love your job. Because he said he's had some patients where their nerve just spontaneously woke back up in the stomach and then everything started working again. And then he's had diabetics where it just did not wake up again, right? So he was like, until your nerve wakes back up spontaneously, or let's say, for example, it doesn't wake back up, you got to learn how to navigate. So he was like, for now, no whole wheat, no grains, Um, when you eat, do not eat past 8 o'clock at night. Me, I love food. You're right. Um, he was like, you got to drink a lot of water because the water is what's going to push everything through and push it down. Your best friend right now are like, bubbly things like bubbly wines or bubbly sodas and things like that. He was like, drink wine because that'll help as well. In the Bible, it says, when you have upset stomach, drink a glass of wine. It says it in the Bible. Okay, focus. So, what else? So he just gave me tips and tricks and stuff like that. So he was like, you also got to give up red meat. I was like, easy. Now, if you're from the islands, baby, we love our oxtail. We love our oxtail, our curry goat. And I was like, easy though, because we got to get back on track. So did that, let that go, and started doing only white everything. Now, when you go from whole wheat to white, you're going to go from fine as hell to fat as hell, right? So I was like, oh, this ain't gonna work, right? So my doctor was like, okay, well, we got to give you a PPI. And I was like, bro, I don't take meds. So she was like, well, what are you going to do? Because you can't keep coming here. Because mind you, in the process of all of this, I kept having to go to the ER. I'm throwing up. And I'm not throwing up like just food. I'm throwing up bile. Like green liquid is coming out of me. So, and she's like, look, I'm tracking all your ER visits. You are throwing your guts up. Okay. I was like, I know. So she was like, what are we going to do? And I said, okay, give me time. Let me figure it out. Ciao. Why these doctors don't talk about, sorry, I'm trying to see who this. Why these doctors don't talk about like digestive enzymes? They don't talk about like pro, and postbiotics. They don't talk about this. They don't talk about like the amount of fiber you're supposed to have per day. Once I started doing the research, first of all, you my doctor, you're supposed to be telling me these things, ma'am. What happened? Why are we not on the same page? Okay. So I started looking it up, and I was like, okay. Right. So looking it up, I started following a regimen. So I would drink, this is my regimen. You can steal it if you want to. I don't care. I started doing my own regimen. So what I started doing, wake up in the morning, don't just freaking stuff food down your mouth in the morning. Baby, I know you're hungry. We know. But let's drink some water, okay? And not just any water. Like, get you half a lemon. Get you a cup of warm water. A little bit of salt. You drink it in the morning on an empty stomach before you touch food. Then you have your food. When you have your breakfast in the morning, it needs to be a what? Heavy breakfast, right? So the morning is when you eat your boiled eggs, your regular eggs, your toast, your all that stuff, right? When you're finished with your breakfast, which is what I was doing, I would wait 30 minutes before I have my tea. Because you know, when you listen, when you're in the islands, you must drink your tea. You must have your tea in the morning, right? So I would have a tea to help digest what I already ate. If you know, and you know that you know, in the islands, digesting food is ginger tea. You must drink your ginger tea in the morning, okay? Now you have to take your vitamins. Your vitamins must consist of a prebiotic, probiotic, postbiotic, digestive enzyme, right? I'm going to break it down. I'm going to show y'all what I use. I don't know if y'all can see it, but I'm going to show y'all what I use. It's so important, and it helps with not only digesting, but your making sure that you can eat more meals throughout the day, right? But your breakfast is supposed to be your heaviest breakfast. If you are struggling with GERD, gastroparesis, diverticulitis, or diverticulosis, your breakfast is your heaviest meal. You only eat eggs early in the morning. Once it's past, for me, once it's past 10 o'clock, you're not touching no eggs. No boiled eggs. Your boiled eggs are super early in the morning. If you still want to have eggs for breakfast, it needs to be scrambled. If it's after 10 o'clock, it needs to be scrambled eggs because that's the softer side of the egg chain. I don't even know if that makes sense, but if you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, right? That's the softer side of the egg chain. Then lunch and dinner, you can do whatever you want, right? But you have to put it in your mind, okay, before I touch a meal for lunch, let me drink a glass of water. I do my lunch, wait 30 minutes again before you drink something else, because what it does is it's just bloating you out, okay? Let me show you the vitamins. So, this is all from Hum Nutrition, okay? So the first one is called Hum Flatter Me Debloat and Digestive Health. It has 18 digestive enzymes and plus bromolamine and papain, okay? So the directions that you're supposed to be taking twice a day with a meal. So one for breakfast, one for lunch. Okay. Then you have your daily cleanse, right? This is 2 daily. So I would do 1 for lunch, 1 for dinner. Okay? Good for helping. Just remember your digestive enzymes includes like when you have dairy, because I'm not supposed to have dairy, but girl, mac and cheese and ice cream, oh my god, we go together real bad, okay? But I don't do it all the time. I do it like on the weekends, but during the week, no, you will not catch me having like ice cream and mac and cheese every day, because eczema, we trying to, no, okay? So this is really good for like, if you know you lactose intolerant, this will break it down. You'll just be pooping, okay? It's gonna get it out of you. Okay, it's gonna digest it. Okay, this is really good. So these are digestive enzymes. So in the morning and for lunch. Okay, lunch and dinner. This is my regimen. You don't have to follow it. I'm just giving you the tea about what helped me. Okay. Now your fiber. As you can see, these are all empty. There's nothing in there. So I don't need to lie to you, baby. There's nothing in there, okay? Now you have your fiber. This is celery gummies, fiber gummies. Yes, they do taste like celery. If you don't like celery, baby, don't get it. Okay? Just don't get it. Don't get it. Okay? So, this has prebiotic fiber and chlorophyll in it, as well as celery juice, like real celery juice, right? So the amount of fiber in here, let me see if I can find it, girl, because the amount of fiber in here is 5 grams, which is the daily value. Am I gonna lie to you and tell you that you can't get more fiber than this? No, because you absolutely can get more fiber than this by doing your fruits and vegetables, which should fill you up throughout the day if you're doing snacks in between. Okay, but this is just like the extra boost of fiber. So I would do this. I did this during lunch, like right after my lunch. We popped the gummies in my mouth, and I'm like, "Ooh, girl, we swimming, we great." So not only do I have the gummies in me, I got the prebiotic, probiotic, and the cleanse at lunchtime, baby. By the time I go home, baby, I'm snatched. They're like, "Then you go home, yeah, girl, I'm going home, looking like a snack, baby, eat me." Okay. So if you want to get these, I'm going to put the code down below. It's my first and my last name. You get 20% off. I'm going to put the code down below. Go get you some. Stop walking around looking like a Oompa Loompa and Humpty Dumpty that fell off the wall. Look good. Huh? And then the next video, we're going to talk about my Oura ring. Oh, my hands are ashy because I just washed my hands. Mind your business. But you get what I'm saying. Okay? Make sure. Stop walking around looking like a hot air balloon. You feel me? Okay? So the code for 20% off is going to be down below. And then my 2 ebooks or 3 ebooks that I discussed with you guys earlier on in this FaceTime with y'all, because now I have an Osmo. They're going to be down below as well. And we're going to be talking all things, everything. And then, girl, I went and got me a magnetic mount. So I can stick this Osmo anywhere and start chatting with y'all. YouTube finna be lit. Period. Okay, so go get you these items. Stop looking like a hot air balloon. Let's look good together. Okay? I love y'all. Stay blessed. Be nice to somebody. Make sure you like and subscribe. Okay? Because we're healing together as a community. I can't be the only one healing from being suicidal and having a lazy gut system. We're healing together. Okay? I love you. Oh, and some of y'all be DMing me talking about, Dana, you don't know I've been through so much. I'm stressed. I'm hurt. I'm broken. Bitch, you talking to Queen of Broken. But some of y'all still don't believe me. So, I'm giving y'all access to my personal diary entries online. If you want to know what the fuck is going on with me, I'm going to put my personal diary entries online that I literally be dumping my trauma. I ain't joking. Dumping my trauma online for people to see, like, baby, you're not the only one going through this. We all suffering in this life of woe together. Okay? Yeah. So I'm gonna put the link to my personal diaries down below. You can read the free, it's my blog, so you can read the free stuff, but the stuff where I get a little dirty, you gotta pay for that, because baby, hold on. That's BFF stuff, okay? If you want to be my BFF, you gotta subscribe to that. It's only $8 a month. Some of y'all be going to Starbucks every single morning, paying $8 every day, 5 days a week to go to work. That's $40 a week. 40 times 4 is $160 a week. Girl, to be my BFF is $8 a month. You don't want to be my BFF and be in my business with me? And then when I'm finally able to say who killed my mama, baby, it's going to be in my BFF diaries. And that's only going to be to the people who what? Subscribe to be my BFF. Bye.